Do you want to just start with questions or
Do you have a comment? Why don't you go ahead?
I don't know. Nothing really to comment, man. I'm glad to be back home. I just want to thank, Mrs. Sarver and Alvin and kind of my agent for just making sure we all, were very respectful to each other during this process. I mean, it went by pretty quick, and I'm just happy I could stay home. I think the stuff I'm kind of hearing is people think the Suns aren't going to be anything this year, and I think that's kind of the same thing people thought last year. So, just keep that going. And for us, with Amari leaving, I know everybody's going to ask about that. So, with Amari leaving, people just got to step their game up, and I think people shouldn't underestimate Robin. People shouldn't underestimate me or, the will of this team. I think everybody saw it last year. So, we still have Steve Nash, we still have Alvin Gentry, we still got Grant Hill, Jason Richardson, Jared Dudley, Leandro, Gora, myself. So, we got a pretty good team still. So just stick with us and just kind of watch what happens. I think you're going to see a lot of growth from a lot of young guys, and just moving on to a new era of Suns basketball. And I think I'm excited to be a part of it for a long time.
How nice is it, Channing, to get the business side out of the way?
Man, free agency. I watched that LeBron thing, and he was like, he likes that kind of stuff. I hate free agency. It's I just like I said, I think the biggest thing was I just want to be somewhere for a long time, and a long time in the NBA has got 4 or 5 years. So for me, just knowing that I'm gonna be here and just gotta have a chance to grow with this team and with the people that we have, man, it just gives me more motivation for me to get better and for me to just really look at what we did last year, just try to just work on that and just try to just build on those. Just use that as a building block for the rest of the time I'm here.
Jay, you talk about getting better. Where do you think you need to improve the most?
You know what? Overall, I would just kind of say from last year, just being more explosive. Probably, I think you kind of saw at the end of the year that one dribble pull up and putting the ball on the ground. Just being able to maybe, 1 or 2 dribbles now, and definitely work on my post game a little bit. I think the face up jumper is kind of my go-to thing. Just being able to have some counter moves to that, and to just overall just get better. Just working with the trainers that we have here to get stronger, faster, quicker, more explosive. I think is another thing I could do. Work on my athleticism and make sure that working with them over 1 year, I saw where they took me. Where my body has been, and now just being able to stick with that same system and work, more, especially when I go back to Portland, is huge for me. And I think you're going to see, just a little bit, probably a little faster, more athletic team.
Would you like to start, or do you want to keep coming off the bench?
You know what? That's not really my decision, nor do I care. I think last year I did pretty much the same things I did starting as I did coming off the bench. So for me, it's whatever works for the team. I don't really care. I know Coach Gentry. I completely trust him and his decisions of what's best for the team. And hey, let's battle it out during training camp. We just got to make each other better anyway. So, I'm cool.
You touched on Amari leaving. How does your role change with Amari? I know it's early, but
well, you know what? I think luckily for me, I didn't do anything that he did, kind of, except rebound and play defense. So for me, it's just picking up the intensity. I think Amari brought that intensity and that passion for the game. And so for me, just being a little bit more emotionally committed to each game, especially during the regular season, and making sure I stay on the glass. I think at the end of the year, I started rebounding a lot better. And, go figure, I watch those games on film, when I get on flights and stuff. So, I just saw what I did, and it's just constant movement. And another thing, is just picking it up on defense, maybe blocking some more shots, being more aggressive. But, I think the big Robin down there, it's going to help out a lot, especially with the length of Hakeem. It's going to help out. I think we lose a great guy who's done a lot for the Suns, but I think at the same time, we got some guys that people kind of don't pay attention to, and those are kind of the most dangerous guys because what do you expect from us? Probably nothing. So hey, anything past nothing, we're gonna be successful like we did last year. So we like being underdogs.
You mentioned Hakeem. What do you think he's going to bring to the table?
I've actually known Hakeem since we were like 17, 18 years old. So I played with him before, and he's another skilled guy but just freaky athletic. He's going to bring those little things to a team. You know, he can shoot, he can run, he can definitely finish around the basket. I think, you know, he's a tough cover. You know, because of his length, he's great on the offensive glass. So for us, he's going to bring that athleticism that, you know, maybe Lou, depending on what happens with him, and you know, with Amari. So he's not Amari. You know, he's not going to be, you know, anybody else that you've probably ever seen. You know, he's a unique kind of player, and he's exciting to watch. So you know, just give him a chance before you kind of to write us all off.
Channing, a lot was said about how cohesive you all were as a team and in the locker room. Do you think any of that changes with Amari leaving?
No. I think that the best thing about this team is that we always have motivation to get better, you know. And so for us, it's just, you know, we lose Amari, and we understand, you know, hey, he has to do what's best for him. But you look at the core group of guys, you know, we lose one and we gain 3 good quality guys, you know, 2 guys from the draft and Akeem. And you know, I'm excited to come back, man. I was talking to Grant. I think I called Grant the first guy I called after, you know, I agreed to my deal with Mr. Sarver and Alvin. So I got a text from Steve, you know, JD and Jay Rich. All those guys are really glad that I came back. And, you know, that type of chemistry, it can only get better, you know. Everybody's kind of where they were last year, and we understand where we can go and what it takes to get there. I think we just want to, it's just more motivation to work harder and to challenge ourselves to get better.
Channing, you talked a little bit about what people expect of the Suns or don't expect, but what do you expect of them?
You know what? I expect us to get better every day like we did last year. I think if we look like, hey, we want to go to the Western Conference Finals, then I don't think that's a proper goal for us, because, you know, who knows what we might do next year. You know, after this year, I can't say we won't go to the championship and win it. You know, who would have thought if I would have said we were going to Western Conference Finals, people would have thought we were crazy at the beginning of the year. You know, so for me, it's just about us taking training camp seriously, taking the summertime seriously, and getting better every single day. And I think the fans you'll get a better quality of game that way, because we'll take every single regular season game serious. We're not going to just be like, well, let's just cruise until the playoffs, because we're not good enough to do that. You know, I'll tell you that right now. But the fact that we're not good enough to just cruise makes the game more exciting for us. It makes us better, and it brings us together.
Did you ever consider actually leaving?
You know what? I think at the beginning, you just have to have a clean slate about it. But it was tough, man. You know, I was in Hawaii, so everybody was like, you know, I was there with Coach Olsen and them, and he was like, you know, I was like, Coach, you know, I don't know what I'm going to do, but I want to go back home. And he was like, well, we'll try to see you when you play the Suns, you know. And just a little comment like that was like, man, you know, I can't even drive down to Tucson, or, you know, I can't, you know, see, you know, I can't go to the church I go to. And there's just different things that played into being like, you know, we got to get this deal done. You know, I was actually on the golf course the next day when we were going through the deal. So I had to have my brother-in-law hit for me all the time. I was just in the car on the phone, like, going through stuff, calling my wife, calling, you know, my agent, just going through stuff like, man, look, like, just this was just overwhelmingly the right place for me to be, and I just want to make sure that it worked out with, you know, with Alvin and Mr. Summer.
Is it doubly sweet because, one, you didn't get the deal you wanted, and two, with the team and the town and the city you wanted?
It's, well, yeah, I'll count that as 3, sorry.
Yeah,
so it's like, you know, I feel like, you know, the deal is pretty fair, you know, and I feel like I just want to earn that continuously. You know, I think it's not just okay, now I can cruise. You know, I just don't have a motor like that. I think, you know, I want to try and earn that, do hard work, and whether I can do that in the eyes of the fans, you know, hey, I'm just going to put the work in like I did last year, you know. I still got a lot to prove. I still feel like, you know, we can do some things, and I still feel like I can really help this team out. And, you know, I can't tell you how happy it is to just be back home in the heat and, you know, get to deal with 111 weather for another couple of years.
How much interest did you receive from other teams?
You know, I thought we had about as much interest as I thought there would be. So, you know what the crazy thing was is everybody's like, hey, you know, we like you a lot, you know, but we are just going to give 98% of our attention to those big 5 guys. So, which kind of how everybody else is around the league. Everybody was just waiting, you know, kind of twiddling their thumbs until LeBron and D-Wade and Chris Bosh and Boozer and those guys made their decision. But Phoenix was adamant about getting the deal done.